welcome back to Chatting with Olajumoke. It's always a pleasure having you join me. Remember, Chatting with Olajumoke is a place where we talk about all things better living. On this episode, I'm going to be sharing with us my 3-time pregnancy and delivery journey. As we all know, I'm a mom of 3, and if you don't know, now you know I'm a mom of 3 wonderful nations. And so I'm going to be sharing how my pregnancy and delivery journey was. You know how they say that no 2 pregnancies are the same. That was exactly the case for me. And I hope you find this interesting, enjoyable, and you get to learn something from it. Right, let's go into it. So I got married in February that year, and there was the honeymoon and the new life of being the new bride and all that. And I found out that I was pregnant in April. I did the urine tests and it came out positive. But you know how they say that sometimes the urine test is not so accurate and all of that. So I went to do a blood test and the blood test came positive that I was pregnant. And I can remember vividly, the joy of a newlywed, when you just get pregnant and there's this excitement and this joy. So I had, I can remember that I got home that day and my husband was not back from work, so I was waiting patiently for him. I can still remember that scenario, just like a movie. And when he got back, I sat down, smiling sheepishly and blushing, and he was asking what was wrong. And I gave him the results, and he saw the result, and he was so excited. There was so much joy, carrying me, hugging me, just like all those movies. Like how I pictured it, that was exactly how it was, and it was so exciting. And my I didn't have any serious I wasn't vomiting and spitting like that. Probably a few occasions, maybe when I was brushing, right? So I had a smooth sail during my pregnancy, the first pregnancy. There was really no I had no problem. It was a smooth pregnancy. The only thing was I was always craving for guava, and there was no guava around. So anytime I traveled home, I always told my mom to help me get guava from my auntie's house. They had a guava tree, so they should help me get guava. But after I'd exhausted that, then that was it. And I discovered that this guava craving was for both my boys, because when I had my last baby too, I had guava craving too. So I was craving for guava. But apart from that, there was nothing so extraordinary. I was just fine, perfect. Apart from the fact that, my dresses, at some point, my dresses couldn't size me anymore. And I started to wear something big and all of that. And I can remember that I did scan every time. Every time I went for antenatal, I did scan. I have in my son's file, in our first child's file, I have the pictures of all the scan. And at every scan, they always print pictures. Every time I'm having a scan, every time I'm looking at what the baby is looking like and all of that. So there was so much excitement, having the first baby. I registered in the private hospital, but my mom is a nurse and she felt like state hospitals are better for delivery, and so she told me to go to state hospital. So I started my antenatal in a private hospital, but when she said I should go to the state hospital, so I went to register in the state hospital, and it was not funny. You know how the state hospital is always so crowded. You get there probably by 9 and you are number 100 and something, and all that stuff. But in the private hospital, as you come, they're just attending to you almost immediately. There's no long this thing. I missed all of that. But in the state hospital, they would teach us this, they would give us lectures, they would teach us songs to sing, there were prayers, all those things in the antenatal. Yeah, those were there in the state hospital, but that was not there in the private hospital. So I learned some more during the antenatal clinics in the state hospital. You see people coming to sell different things and stuff. And when it was time to buy, we started buying. It's the first child. We started buying different things. We had a very long list. They give you a list in the hospital. You have people that have gone through that, gone through it before. They give you a list. Yeah, get this, and we kept buying and buying. I can remember the first bulk buying we did. I went with my husband. So much excitement. And I can remember when I knew the sex of the child was a boy, then I started buying. I was always buying something. always buying something. I'll look at those cute shoes then, and I'll be expectant. Every time I was always arranging the wardrobe. This is where this, the excitement. And then when it was time for my EDD, the baby did not come. I didn't feel labor. I didn't fall into labor. Nothing happened. So when I went to the hospital, they gave me a date to come so that I'll be, what's that, what they call that thing? So that I'll be induced. Yes. So they said if I didn't fall into labor before then, I'll be induced. So they gave me a date to come, and I didn't fall into labor. So on that day, I packed my things by myself to the hospital, ready to be induced. And so we got to the hospital. In the state hospital, different people, with everybody shouting. One person is shouting, someone is in labor and all of that. Me, I wasn't in labor. So, and then they induced me. And when the thing started, oh my God. Oh my God. So for me, I experienced the normal labor, and I experienced the one where you are induced. For the normal natural labor, it would come, the labor pains will come and leave you. But for me, when I was induced, oh my goodness, there was no space. It didn't give me space. It was pain all through, And I can remember my mom told me that when you're going to give birth, whether you cry, it will pain you. If you shout, it will pain you. If you don't shout, it will pain you. If you cry, it will pain you. If you don't cry, it will pain you. So just try as much as possible to keep your strength. And so that word kept ringing in my ears. I'd read Supernatural Childbirth, all those things. That I'd read it and I was confessing and everything. But then the pain was a lot. I didn't scream. I didn't really shout. I didn't shout. But anything I held on to, it was the iron bed. When I hold on to it, I just grip onto it when the pain comes so much. And in the middle of all of that, the doctors will come again and check. They will do their two fingers like this, and they'll come and be checking how many cm are you and all that stuff. It was not a nice experience, right? But I thank God, baby came, and I had a big baby. They caught me and I still had tears. Yes, so I had a boy. Yes, I had a baby boy, and I was so excited. My husband was there in the labor ward. It was there, and when if your spouse being there makes them appreciate you so more. So as much as possible, I want to encourage the husbands to stay. It's not always a nice sight, but it's good so that you appreciate your wife so more, and appreciate your mom, and appreciate the women in your life. So that was how that went, and we had our baby boy, and there was excitement. I didn't lactate on time. All my three babies, I don't usually lactate early, so I didn't lactate on time. We did I think it was SMA Gold we bought so that we could give him something. But 2 days after, and I was drinking a lot of pap. I drank a lot of pap. They said I should drink pap and amala. Like 2 days after, then the thing started pouring, So I just packed the SMA to one side, and I started breastfeeding exclusively for 6 months. So that was the journey of the first child, and how the excitement is. Everybody came, for the naming and stuff. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And then about 10 months down the line, or 11 months down the line, I started menstruating again a few months after. Yes. So some people always say that when they are breastfeeding, they don't menstruate. I started menstruating not quite long, almost after. Oh, I forgot to share the experience of how, that I had tears and I had cuts. So I wouldn't be able to sit down properly. I'll be sitting with one edge, so that I could protect myself. And they will always say, sit down properly, so that the thing can heal. What about all the hot water therapy thing to make your tummy go down, tying your belly and all that stuff? I did all of that. Yeah, I did all of that. Then, about 10 or 11 months down the line, the period disappeared again. And I was hoping it was just late. But lo and behold, my hope was crushed and dashed when I bought the pregnancy strip, and I discovered that I was pregnant again. Oh my God. You know the excitement of the first baby, how we're excited and we're happy, and the carrying and the jumping and how he was carrying me around and all of that. I said, no, I cannot be pregnant. No, 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 no. Why would I be pregnant? I was still breastfeeding the first child. My plan was to stop breastfeeding him after a year. Yes. And so I was expecting that. And you know how they say sometimes breastfeeding is a kind of family planning therapy for some people when they're pregnant. When they're breastfeeding, they won't get pregnant. Well, that was not my case. I got pregnant and I was not happy. I was not excited. And I was wondering where the excitement of the first child was. I was not excited. I wished that it was something that would have just disappeared. And again, I went to do blood tests so that the blood test, maybe hoping that the blood test would say it was negative, it was a wrong test. But it came out positive. So I was pregnant again. My baby was not yet 1 when I got pregnant. Yes. And so I called my mom and I told her that I was pregnant. And my mom said, Baolesheshe. And I'm like, what is Baolesheshe? I'm pregnant again. And she told me that I could continue to breastfeed. That because I was like, maybe I should stop breastfeeding. She told me, I said she's a nurse. She said I could continue breastfeeding till it was a year before I stopped breastfeeding him. So I was pregnant again. And so I kept at it. I was managing. I calculated it. Okay, by the time this baby comes, at least there will be 2 years gap between them. It's not that bad. I can encourage myself. It's not that bad. By the time the baby will come, it will be 2 years old. At least my older baby will be our first child will be older a bit, and you know how you encourage yourself. So I encouraged myself, and the pregnancy journey started. And the excitement came back when I discovered I was going to have a girl. Yeah, I was so happy. And I started buying all the pink things, pink clothes and stuff. And I was so happy. I was so excited. And then this was different. The delivery of this one was different because I saw a show. So I saw mucus and blood. And so immediately I saw it, I told my husband that it was time for me to go to the hospital. Shout out to my sister, Ifeloluwa. Ifeloluwa was there for me from the beginning, from the first child to the second child. She was there. Yes, so I didn't really feel the burden. Yeah, so when you are having another child, when you're pregnant, when you still have a baby, it's a lot of work. But my younger sister was there for me. I would just go and drop him. And, she was like a second mom. They had so many pictures together that I don't even have, So if you're in that situation, you need a lot of support. You need support from your spouse, from your siblings, from people. You need a lot of support because it can be a lot. It can be draining, right? So she was there for me. She was there even at the delivery of the first child. She was there at the delivery of the second child. Right, so this one, I saw the show and I fell into labor and I got to the hospital, but my water did not break. So the doctor had to break it manually. Still in the state hospital, like my mom had said, I should go to the state hospital. So still in the state hospital. So my water, the water broke manually. They broke the water manually. And so the labor started. Now, how I said that, the difference between how I was induced and the natural labor, that one, I would have the labor pains and it would stop. So I had time to breathe, but the other one just went. There was no time to breathe. So it was a lot. Yeah. So I had labor pain. It would go, it would stop, it would go, it would stop. And then, oh yeah, I can remember that when I was going to have my second baby, I prayed to God. God, she's a girl, let her have hair because I don't have hair. Yeah, and this is all my hair. Let me boast a little. This is all my hair, but I don't have good edges. So I wanted her to have great hair, and I prayed to God, and God answered that prayer because the first thing I asked when the baby came out was, does she have hair? My husband said yes, she had hair. Right. So now that labor was different because it was a student nurse that took my delivery. And I can remember my husband telling them that they shouldn't allow a student nurse to take my delivery. And the matrons there were saying that how did they learn if they didn't do the practical thing, that she knows what she's doing and all of that. So she took the delivery was okay. And then I had tears as well. And so, okay, no, they were going to cut me too. They were going to cut me. So they gave me, is it anesthesia now? Some that thing that will make the pain go. They gave me that when they were cutting me. So I wouldn't feel the pain. And so the baby came out. And so she sewed me back. Now, I didn't feel the pain when she was sewing me back because the effect of that injection was still there. So I didn't feel it. But then I just discovered that shortly after, like 15 minutes after, I started bleeding seriously. And I can remember that's why my mom gave my daughter the name testimony. I started bleeding so much that my husband was scared. I can remember my husband asking, should he go and donate blood? What could he do? You know, everybody was scattered. My younger sister was afraid. She had called my mom to be praying and everything. So apparently the student nurse did something, made a mistake, she did something. And you know, that's why I think that our medical systems can do better. I don't know how we can do it. I understand that the student nurses have to learn, or the student midwives have to learn, I understand, but using somebody's life for as a lab rat is not the best, because if care wasn't taken, I might have lost my life. And several people have lost their lives because of some things that were not put in place in the place of delivery. This video is getting long, but I hope you're enjoying it, right? So the matron came in and then they had to cut me again. Now the effect of that injection had already worn off, and so they said they couldn't give me another one because the duration was too close, so they couldn't give me another one. Oh my goodness, that pain was hell. So they had to cut me, they had to put hand inside me and remove something. I don't know what exactly that thing was, and I was bleeding heavily. You know, they said I think I wasn't sewn well or something, and so she had to sew me again without any pain reliever. Oh my goodness, I was screaming. The pain was unbearable. They were just saying sorry, but the sorry could not do anything. And you know, that was that. After I had my bundle of joy without any problem, it was the student nurse thing that caused that. I thank God. I thank God for that. And we had our baby. Nobody taught me before I went to go and use something as contraceptive. Family planning. 6 weeks after, I was watching about that. We have to go and do this thing because once bitten, twice shy. I'd gone through that experience and I was not going to go through that experience again. And so, but there was the excitement of the baby girl. My mom was wonderful. My first son was, as at 1 year, it was going, to spend time with her in Ibadan then. So it was wonderful. I didn't really have, my sister was there, so I had a good support system. I resumed back to work and all of that. Then I started having migraine. So I used to have migraine when I was in the higher institution, and it stopped. And then it was like my second child triggered the migraine. I don't know what happened. And I started having migraine again, and it was terrible. When the migraine comes, I'm always not myself. I'll be so scattered and all of that. And I had to go and see the physicians, and they told me that they gave me some medications, but that medication was something I couldn't take while breastfeeding. So I had to stop breastfeeding my baby at 5 months. Yes, I had to stop breastfeeding her at 5 months. And I was doing everything I could to make her healthy, giving her different kinds of food and all of that, so that I could take those medications and get better, because a healthy mom is what makes a good mom, right? So that was that about her. And then after a while, the migraine stopped. Yes, but I'd already weaned her then. So so I was okay, I was doing fine, but then again the migraine came back again. And advices here and there said maybe it was the family planning thing that I did that was giving me migraine, so I had to remove it before it was time for it to be taken out. So I had to remove it, I had to take it out. And so, right, so the family planning thing I did was hormonal. And so you need to ask, when you're taking, don't just do what everybody's doing. Let them ask you questions so that you'll be sure that the family planning thing that you're doing is something that goes with your body system. Yes, so I was advised to take it out, and maybe it was that thing that was giving me the migraine, because migraine was to go, it to come, it to go, it to come. So I had to take it out. And so I took it out. And you know how they used to say that when you do family planning, your body has to adjust back before pregnancy can even come and all of that. So I felt I was free. My hormones had to get back to bed together and everything. It's a lie, oh, it's a lie. That was how, I think 2 months after, I got pregnant again. My husband used to say that that my own body, I don't understand. One little touch like this and pregnancy just comes, right? So I got pregnant again, but this time it was okay because there was 3 years between her and our third baby. And this one, I decided I was going to give myself a treat. I wasn't going to do the state hospital stress. I was going to a private hospital. So I went to a private hospital for the third baby, and that was what I did. No stress of long antenatals and all of that. So the pregnancy experience was also smooth. I didn't really have any terrible experience like spitting and all of that. My pregnancy was always very smooth, just that the back, the legs swelling and all of that. That was all of it. And so I had my third baby. So when I was going to have my third baby, I also had to be induced. I think this thing has to do with the boys, because he's a boy. I didn't fall into labor. So they gave me a date too. So I had to be induced. And so I had that experience of the first child again, where the pain was so much and intense. But this time around, it was not as painful as the first one. Yeah, maybe because I had experience. I don't know, but it wasn't as painful as the first one. But when I was going to get to the delivery room, I was tired. I was really tired. And I can remember telling the doctor to help me. He was telling me to do a very big push, right? And I was tired, and I told them that they had to help me. I couldn't do it by myself, that they had to do something to assist me. So they brought out something, I don't know, medical people, something like this that would put it inside me to help me with the baby. Yeah, so that was how I had my third baby. I was tired. I don't know why I was so tired. I don't know why. But then I thank God for good support system. Now at this point, my younger sister had gotten married. She had gone to start her own life. But then I had another wonderful lady with me that I could leave my children with. So when I was going to deliver, I called her, told her to stay at home with the other two. So my husband was with me in the hospital. But in all of these things I've been saying, good support system is wonderful. You need support systems, and if you don't have a good support system, I don't know what you're going to do, because pregnancy, delivery, the postnatal thing is a lot, and so you need a wonderful support system. So that's how my pregnancy and delivery journey was. And so here I am, a mother of three, the third child. Something you have done for a while, and growing up, giving me different things. I'm like, how did I even get here? I should have just been enjoying myself with just 2 children. But every child is a blessing. Once when he starts showing me himself and doing stuff, I'll be like, oh my goodness, can tell me he's not doing homework and all of that. But motherhood is a blessing. Yes, in all of the pain, in all of the tiredness, in all of everything, I can't imagine myself, not being their mom. So it is wonderful. It is phenomenal. And I pray that every woman that is expecting, I pray that every woman that wants this joy, I pray that as soon as possible, by the grace of God, God will put a smile on your face and you'll also have this joy that I have experienced. Right. So that has been my pregnancy and delivery journey. I hope you found it enjoyable. I hope you got to learn something from it, because I think I shared a few things in between, right? So I hope you got something from it. Thanks for being a part of Chat with Olajumoke. I just felt I should share. Yeah, I'm naturally a private person when it comes to things like this, but I just felt I should share. And so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again on next episode. Till I see you again, don't forget to keep keeping it real.